Welcome to another episode of Tech Talk with Suits, and I'm your host, Suits. So today we're going to give an update and then some information. So today is all about the Colonial Ransom refund and crypto. So first we'll start off and give a little bit of an explanation about cryptocurrency. In this case it's Bitcoin, but it can be any cryptocurrency. So Bitcoin is a cryptocurrency. The major part of what crypto's worth is based on is time, because crypto has to be mined or created by computers. With that increased value, means that you can buy more stuff with it, of course. Now, crypto has gone up and down and up and down, and it's currently still worth a lot of money. Not as much as sometimes, but that's how the stock market works. So, with crypto being this way, one of the major benefits of it was that it was nearly untraceable. Now I say nearly untraceable because it's not actually untraceable. It's not completely 100% anonymous. Most things aren't. But it was hard enough to track and trace that it pretty much didn't happen very much. It's a lot like if you ever watch Wolverine, the adamantium that's nearly unbreakable. It doesn't mean that it is unbreakable, just that it would take so much force that it's pretty much like that. Well, that's the same thing with the Bitcoin and tracking it. The entire point of it was so hard to do, it would take so much time and so much resources and a really good reason to do it, and there just wasn't. Well, enter the FBI. So the FBI has created techniques or used techniques in order to trace the blockchaining. Blockchaining is part of what makes up all the transactions for Bitcoin and cryptocurrency. That's one of the things that makes it anonymous, is that it's going through and you can't really follow it very easily. Or it's nearly impossible to follow. So the FBI created their own technique. They started being able to follow it. Now, I want to explain something to you. Just because something is able to be followed doesn't mean that you have access to it. I can easily watch a Ferrari be pulled out of a driveway, drive down the street, and then park at a local store. That does not mean I have access to get in the Ferrari and drive it away. That'd be really nice though. That's the same as cryptocurrency. Even though you can see where it started and then track where it goes, it doesn't mean that you have access to it. You still have your digital wallet, which in this case is kind of like a bank account almost. However, the FBI doesn't always need to have access to the money. For the purposes of a criminal investigation, all you'd really have to do is see where it started, see where it's going, and see where it ended up, to be able to then prosecute and bring somebody to justice. Why does all this matter? Well, two things happened due to this. One, crypto took a slight dip because some of the people who were using it for nefarious purposes now realized, hey, it can be traced, and I don't really want to use it as much now because I don't want to use anything that can be traced. And if it can be, and it's a big enough deal, I don't want to be caught with it. So it did take a slight dip, not huge because not everybody's using it for bad things, but it did take a dip because people realized it was not quite as anonymous as they thought it was. Second reason why this matters, because there have been some recent ransomware attacks on companies, such as what we covered a long time ago, Colonial. Colonial Pipeline, that was the big news story where they paid almost $5 million in Bitcoin to ransomware attack. Now, the problem is they initially asked the government and said, hey, you guys need to help us out. And the government came out and said, you're a private organization. We can't help you because you're not part of the government. However, even though they couldn't help at the time, they still are under obligation to then help a privatized company with a gigantic theft like that. So the FBI then got involved and using its lovely technique that it will not explain to anybody because you don't want the bad people to find out how you're able to find them. So the FBI was able to track the money, find one of the digital wallets where the money was being kept, and they have since seized it. Now, you might say, well, Suits, you told me in the beginning that just because they can track it doesn't mean that they can get it. Well, yes, those are two very separate things. Being able to see where it's going and where it is are very different than being able to grab it. The reason being is because those digital wallets have digital keys, almost like passwords, if you will, of, hey, now I own this account, but I needed the credentials to be able to get into it. Well, the FBI was able to get the credentials to one of these wallets, and they were able to seize $2.3 million, which sounds like a little bit over half of what was paid in the beginning. Now, yes, it's not the whole amount, because much like the proverbial don't put all your eggs in one basket, I'm going to guess that these attackers didn't leave it all in one digital wallet. But hey, $2.3 million is nothing to sneeze at either. So here's the fun part. Now, I have not seen any report that the FBI has given back the money. It just says it's seized. I'm assuming when the investigation is complete that they will give it back. But who knows? So why is this important, you might ask? Because it means that cryptocurrency is no longer 100% anonymous, which we didn't think it was to begin with. But also, it means that some of these ransomware attacks may now stop, or they may not be as 100% successful as the attackers were hoping. And if you were curious about who was behind the ransomware attack on Colonial Pipeline, that would be a group known as DarkSide. They apparently were the ones that were in charge of, or the ones responsible for, the ransomware attack. However, the FBI has no evidence suggesting that either Putin or Moscow or the government over in Russia were in cahoots with them at all. Now, side note on this, not to get political, the problem with attacks from other countries is that even if, let's say it was China doing an attack, the Chinese government can tell whatever group of attackers, hey, go ahead and do this, we'll be behind you. When the attackers go, even if the attackers fail, China can still say, oh, we didn't know about it because we have no way of investigating their country to prove that they did or they didn't. However, when we say, okay, well, these attackers were found to be responsible, you need to punish them. The Chinese government might go, yeah, we can do that. We're not going to try, don't worry. We have no say over how another country enforces their laws, their punishments, anything like that. So it is one of those things where you just have to say, was it Russia? Was it not? We can't really say. So it happens. Welcome to the wonderful world of cyber attacks with cybersecurity, intercontinental. Or outer, whatever. So that is the update. So Colonial Pipeline got some of their money back, a little over half, or they will be getting it back. Cryptocurrency is not 100% anonymous, so there was a little dip in that. And that's Tech Talk with Suits, signing out.